everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Laura and this is my friend Emily.
Hey!
I thought it would be funny and interesting for us to make a video where she could share her interesting experience here in Italy. Emily has quite a fascinating background. She's 22 years old. She's both Italian and Australian, so she has double citizenship. 2 years ago she came here to Milan in order to improve her Italian. She stayed here for an entire year, a time during which she had an incredible adventure. Let's put it like this. She met international friends and she traveled in Italy and across Europe. She expanded her horizons, and last but not the least, she exited her comfort zone, which is an incredible experience for someone of her age. So Emily, congratulations for your successful endeavor.
Thank you.
The first question that comes into my mind is, have you always dreamed of studying in Italy?
Yes, it was one of my dreams to study overseas, especially in Italy, because I've always wanted to develop my fluency and speak Italian, I guess, better. Yeah.
Were you already speaking this language in your family?
I had a basic knowledge from school and also from my family, but I really wanted to be able to learn how to speak Italian more fluently. So through my course in university, I learned Italian a lot better, and moving to Milan was the next step to becoming fluent in Italian.
So what about the level of your Italian before actually coming here? Was it beginner or intermediary?
I would say it was intermediate, because I did know a lot of the grammar and I could read and write. I just wasn't confident in speaking. I think one of the main obstacles was I was afraid of making mistakes, and once I was able to overcome this obstacle, it was a lot easier for me to just speak and practice Italian.
Ah, that's quite interesting. What about your parents' reaction to your decision? Did they take it well? Did they approve it? Were they supportive of you?
At first, they weren't really supportive. They didn't think it was necessary for me to study overseas, but I explained to them that it was my dream to study overseas, and it was my dream to become more fluent in Italian. So once I explained these things to them, they came to see that it could also be an important and interesting experience, and ever since they were, ever since I convinced them, they became very supportive and helped me throughout the process of moving here.
So they helped you during the entire process
Definitely.
of preparing documents and maybe the visa and preparing your accommodation?
Yeah. All of that. It was really good to have their support, because that way I could talk to them and get their advice on these things.
So get your parents' approval before coming here in Milan. I think it's quite important to have your parents' support, especially since a year is such a long time, and there are periods of homesickness and bad times overall.
That's right. So it's definitely good to have them keep in contact with them, obviously, because they can always lend you a helping hand when anything goes wrong.
So let's go back to your actual experience and delve into it. What about the activities you were engaged and the groups you took part in?
So I went to IULM University here in Milan. That was a really good university. I really enjoyed studying there. All the lessons and classes that I took were in Italian. So this was a really good thing for me, because I was immersed in the Italian language. It was the lecturers were speaking Italian. They were putting Italian on the screens, and so I was able to develop my Italian that way. I was part of the Erasmus student network. I signed up with them, and they organised events for me to meet other international students who were also learning Italian, and they also organised trips around Italy, and I got to visit really beautiful places in Italy, such as Florence and Pisa, Verona, Napoli.
What was your favorite place?
My favourite would have to be Pompeii.
So we ended our first video saying that your favorite place in Italy is Pompeii. It's quite an unusual choice. What made you What made it to your first list?
I guess it's because I learned about it in high school, in history, and it was something that I was really interested in, to see how the town was and what was left of the town, so I really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's quite interesting. The story of Pompeii is always fascinating and enthralling. Anyway, back to our subject, Emily. I was quite interested to know if you had any particular fears before coming to Milan and actually starting your experience.
One main fear was making mistakes in speaking Italian, but I overcame that because I learned that it's important to make mistakes in order to learn and to develop better knowledge in learning a language especially. So making mistakes really helped me to speak Italian more better, more fluently.
Did you also have the occasion to correct other people maybe speaking English?
Yes, it was kind of like a two-way thing. So I would make mistakes and they would help me, correct me, and people who were learning English with me would always ask me, or they would speak to me, and I was able to correct them and help them out. So it was good.
In the end, it was a win-win situation. Nobody felt offended, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so I think most of our viewers would be quite interested to know about the good parts versus the bad parts of Italy. Let's start with the bad parts, because the negative speech always attracts people. What are the difficulties you encountered, or parts you didn't like that much?
There were two main habits that really struck me. Lateness was one habit that a lot of Italians have. So lateness in, let's say, the trains leaving or arriving to a different appointments or different dates and things like that, organised events. That really annoyed me, but then by the time it was the end of my exchange, that became one of my own habits. So I became late to a lot of things. And another thing was the lining up for different restaurants, or when buying food or lining up to get onto the bus, there were no lines really. There was a lot of people pushing in. So yeah, I guess you get to learn to do that. And moving on to the positives, I really enjoyed meeting other people, learning Italian and about the Italian culture, and also learning about the Italian history by travelling around. So it was a really good experience overall.
Oh, that's quite interesting. And what about the advice you're entitled to give to other people that are looking to the same experience as you? An advice of primary importance, first step.
I think you would definitely need to do a basic course in the language that you're going to need to speak. So if you're staying for a long time, I would definitely say go and do the course, because that will help you, and it would definitely be useful for when you're in the country. If you need to speak for yourself, it's definitely something that you would need.
Oh, and great. So making a short list of the bad part and the good part, you would say, as the bad part, you became a latecomer, you don't respect Qs as Italians, and the good part, that you improved your level of Italian, made friends, traveled around Europe and in Italy, and had a great experience overall. So wrapping up our videos, I was thinking that it would be nice for you to end this video with a nice message for your parents, for your friends. Let's try and say that.
Ok, ciao a tutti, vi ringrazio per aver seguito la mia esperienza, mi sono divertita, pure è stato un piacere. Sono contenta che ho potuto venire in Italia, mi è mancato assai perché ho
tanti bei ricordi.
Sì. Allora, ciao e a presto, baci!
Grazie Emily per il tuo tempo e spero di rivederci presto con un nuovo video. Ciao!